Check, check, one, two, one, two. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kevin Garcia. I'm the transportation planner with the New York City Environmental Justice Alliance. Oh, thank you, thank you. NEJA is a nonprofit citywide membership network linking grassroots organizations from low-income communities of color and their struggle for environmental justice. We are also part of the Electrify New York Coalition, a statewide coalition of advocates for environmental justice, public transportation, social justice, and good jobs, and we're fighting for a clean, equitable electric transportation future for New York. For decades, we have seen a rise in e-commerce, and more recently, especially since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen a surge of e-commerce mega warehouses all over New York State. These facilities bring a range of health and environmental hazards. Particularly, these facilities need hundreds of thousands of daily vehicle trips to meet the next day and same day shipping demands. And that number increases during this time of year with special sales and holiday shopping. This means that throughout the year, and especially during this time of year, communities that live near these facilities are dealing with the traffic congestion and the air pollution caused by these facilities. And many of these warehouses are located near low-income communities of color, like the facilities here in Red Hook. We have 3 right behind us, and there's no public or environmental review process for these facilities. So community members do not know how large these facilities are or how many trucks are needed in order to make the deliveries to and from the facility. So that's why we're here with elected officials, labor allies, transportation partners, and others to launch the Clean Deliveries campaign to tackle the emissions from these facilities. We need to make sure that we regulate these facilities by reducing the emissions from vehicles associated with the operation of these warehouses. The Clean Deliveries Act will establish an indirect source rule to ensure that new and existing facilities are complying with the state mandates in the CLCPA and are good neighbors. I can go on and on, but we have a long list of speakers. So I want to first call up Assemblymember Mataines, who represents this district and who has been a strong advocate for regulating these warehouses at the local level and state level. Please.
Thanks, everyone. I am Assemblymember Marcela Mataines. I represent the 51st Assembly District, neighborhoods of Sunset Park, Red Hook, and part of Bay Ridge. I'm also the first immigrant Peruvian in the state legislature. I'm a proud immigrant renter and a constituent of the neighborhood. Sunset Park and Red Hook, like many working class communities of color across the state of New York, have been the sites of increasingly large last mile warehouse facilities that send trucks out throughout our neighborhoods every day. Our communities experience real worsening effects from these facilities in the form of pollution, poisoning health risks, safety as a result of traffic violence, and natural disasters as we face the future of a climate catastrophe. And yet, these effects are not recognized because either the trucking emissions are not sufficiently monitored or because regulations to oversee these facilities have not been effectively implemented. We know that for-profit companies are more interested in profit than making sure our working class and poor neighbors can withstand the climate crisis. We cannot trust the private sector when they promise to resolve the imminent issue of climate change by their own terms. They have an end goal, and that is money and profits for their investors. Our community's end goal is survival, to secure our climate future, not just for us, but for our children and our children's children. Frontline working class communities located in flood zones, divided by a highway with some of the highest asthma rates, along with years of government disinvestment, have left us vulnerable. To add a rapid increase of last mile facilities in our communities is another slap to the face as we struggle to survive every day. The rapid proliferation of vehicle-intense e-commerce, in addition to New York State's ongoing compliance with federal air quality standards, suggests that regulation for warehouses and other indirect sources is necessary to improve air quality and to protect public health, particularly in environmental justice communities. The passage of the Clean Deliveries Act is a priority for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember. And next, I'd like to call up the bill sponsor, the other bill sponsor for this Clean Deliveries Act, Deputy Senate Majority Leader Gianaris, who also fights for hard to improve our air quality.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me thank my Assembly colleague, Marcella Martinez, for her leadership on this issue. I'm from Queens. I'm not from Brooklyn. Thank you. And I'm not Peruvian, but I'm married to one. So that's got to count. But look, we're here for a very serious issue. We have made some strides fighting for the climate in the last several years. We've passed the CLCPA in this state, but we haven't done enough, and the problem is growing. There are constantly new fronts we have to fight, and these warehouses are a big one. We could see on our streets the number of trucks that drive in and out of these facilities every single day, and with those trucks come emissions. And we know that one of the largest sources of emissions are vehicular traffic, and that's what is coming in and out of these facilities, and we haven't caught up to dealing with it fast enough. We have to pass this law, which would require a real environmental assessment of the emissions that would come from these facilities before they're approved. They are popping up everywhere, and we know that these companies are big and bad, and they care more about their profits than they do about the environment. So it's up to us. It's not going to be up to them to do anything voluntarily. It's up to us to set the rules by which they have to govern and they have to live by. So let's pass this law. Let's make sure the Amazons of the world do the right thing and don't contribute to destruction of our climate, which is what's been happening all over this city and all over this state. We're going to do what we have to do in the Senate. We're here joined by Senator Gianaris, whose district we're in right now. I know you'll hear from him a little bit later, but we will have the support in the Senate to get this done. I know Marcella is going to do what she can in the Assembly, and we can come back and celebrate the enactment of this law, hopefully not too soon in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator. And as it was already spoiled, I'd like to call up Senator Gianaris, no worries, who also represents this district. Senator.
Thank you very much. I am State Senator Andrew Gianaris, really thrilled and proud to stand here with my colleague, Deputy Majority Leader Gianaris in the Senate, and my colleague who I represent this neighborhood within the legislature, Assemblymember Marcella Martinez, in strong support of this legislation, the Clean Deliveries Act. Look, these facilities are here for a reason. They're here because they want to be close to the highway. That racist SOB, Robert Moses, where did he build those highways in the first place? He built those highways to target working class, poor communities of color, and as a result of what he did, 50, 60, 70 years ago, these communities, which have been divided from the rest of the city, continue to suffer by the weight of this pollution that's caused by all of these facilities. As Senator Gianaris said, such a significant source of emissions come from these trucks alone. This is literally polluting us. It is killing people in our communities. It's contributing to worse health effects. And by the way, we're all feeding this problem with our addiction to two-hour delivery, next-day delivery, 3-day delivery. So we're part of the problem too, but the solution is to make sure that these companies and these facilities and these trucks and these warehouses are operating in a way that is for the safety of everyone in this community and everyone that lives here. And that's what this bill will do. I'm proud to support this effort. I thank my colleagues. I thank this coalition, and I'll do whatever I can to help support make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator. And we appreciate the support from all three of you. Next up, I'd love to call up a champion of addressing these last mile warehouses here at the local level, Councilmember Alexa Vilas.
All right. Whew, I'll keep it quick because we're cold. So I just want to thank my colleagues here from the state for all their incredible support. And clearly we stand in support of the New York Clean Deliveries Act. We must get this passed, so thank you, Senator Gianaris and Assemblymember Martinez for all your work. We stand here affirmatively to say we need to get this done. Our health and wellness is not the cost of doing business in New York City. And I can't say that enough. We are continuing to pass all kind of legislation to make sure we reel in this beast and that our children, our families have access to health, clean air. It is not for sale. So thank you all. Let's get this done. And we just passed a truck redesign bill in New York City. So all of these elements collectively, getting our green space in our air is so important. So thank you. We stand with you, and we can't wait to see this legislation get passed. And thanks to the coalition for all your hard work and keep us moving in the right direction.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. And next up, I'd like to call up Antonio Rosario, who's a local 804 Teamsters organizer and has been working to make sure that there are good working conditions at these facilities.
Thank you very much. Can somebody hold this real quick? All right. Thank you. Thank you. That's right. Teamwork makes the dream work. All right. I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to thank all the. Thank you to Senator Gianaris and Mataines and you say that again, Gianaris. It's not an easy one. I'm a Teamster with Local 804. We represent 8,400 UPS workers. I'm a 29-year Teamster and I'm an organizer. I'm of Puerto Rican descent. Both my parents were born there, but I do love Peruvian food. You know, being a proud member of Teamster Local 4 and standing with our environmental and community allies to clean up, especially companies and corporations like Amazon. In 2013, there were 0 Amazon warehouses in New York State. 0. Today, there are over 60 all over New York. The Teamsters are in solidarity with local communities who are fighting back against pollution, traffic, and dangerous jobs from Amazon's last-mile warehouses. People have woken up to the hidden cost of Amazon's fast and free delivery. Red Hook and other neighborhoods around the state are paying the price. The Amazon workers who make less than half of what our union siblings make at UPS are paying the price, and so are we as a community. Many communities are saying to new Amazon warehouses, many communities are saying no to new Amazon warehouses, but what are we doing about all the warehouses that Amazon has built already? That is what the Clean Deliveries Act is about. We live in these communities too. Our kids breathe the same air and play in the same streets. I was a delivery driver at UPS for 29 years, like I mentioned, and union delivery job allowed my family to survive and thrive and stay here in Brooklyn. We need good jobs, but we also need clean air and safe climate. Amazon says we can't have either. I know we can have both. Can we have good jobs and clean air? Yes. I said, can we have good jobs and clean air? Yes. You're damn right we can. I want to thank the sponsors, Senator Gianaris and Assemblymember Mataines, as well as the advocates for working with the amended legislation workers will have a seat at the table to implement the bill in their workplace. Amazon is hurting our communities with pollution. Amazon is hurting our communities with low and dangerous jobs. They have the highest injury rate of any corporation, the highest turnover rate. That's why we need everyone in our communities, the unions, the environmentalists, the community organizers to come together to change this company and get the justice that our communities deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Antonio, and we really appreciate the support of Teamsters on this bill. Next up, I'd like to invite Renee Reynolds, the Executive Director of Tri-State Transportation Campaign. Woo!
Thanks, Kevin, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to start off by giving a big thank you to the bill sponsors, Senate Deputy Leader Gianaris, Assembly Member Mataines, Senator Gianaris, and our local elected. She leave? Oh, okay. As Kevin said, my name is Renee Reynolds. I'm the Executive Director of the Tri-State Transportation Campaign. This week, many New Yorkers are online shopping for holiday gifts for their loved ones and taking advantage of online deals for their favorite e-commerce websites. But unfortunately, the truth is that ease of shopping and quick delivery comes at a significant cost, which is particularly impactful in underserved communities and communities of color. The rise of e-commerce has fundamentally changed our urban landscape. Mega warehouses are pivotal in this shift and are now a common feature in and around our cities. They facilitate the rapid deliveries of goods, but at a cost. These warehouses are often larger than 1 million square feet and operating 24/7, generating significant emissions from numerous delivery trucks that come and go. These emissions are not only harmful to the environment, but are also to the health of our neighboring communities. which are often underserved and already overburdened by existing pollution. The Clean Deliveries Act is a response to this growing concern. It establishes necessary regulations for warehouse operations, ensures they curb their emissions. This includes adopting zero emissions vehicles, enhancing charging infrastructure, and adopting alternative modes of transportation where appropriate. These steps are crucial, especially as the demand for faster deliveries increases every holiday season. It's estimated that this year Amazon is set to deliver approximately 5.9 million packages. Is it million or billion? It might be billion. Billion packages. That's an insane number. Which some folks might view as a signal of a healthy economy, but we know that it is a signal of increasing risk to our climate health. Passing the Clean Deliveries Act will not only reduce the environmental impact of an increasing volume of delivery trucks, but also help to make our streets safer. By regulating the operations of mega warehouses and encouraging cleaner, more effective delivery methods, we can significantly decrease traffic congestion and the risks associated with them. So passing the Clean Deliveries Act is crucial for New Yorkers to meet our climate goals, to ensure that our communities are not burdened with continuous fossil fuel emissions, and are prioritizing zero emissions investments. I know we're cold, so I'm going to wrap it up by saying that I have one thing on my wish list this holiday season, and that is that our lawmakers and our Governor Hochul, support the Clean Deliveries Act and take a stand on environmental justice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renee. And last but not least, I'd like to call up Nebraska Hernandez, the Climate Justice Hub advocate of Uprose, who's also working to regulate last mile warehouses at the local level. Nebraska.
But we all vegan, right? Red Hook Farms, yay! Red Hook Farms. What about Red Hook Homes? Red Hook Kids?
That part.
Soon you won't be able to feed nobody.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Nebraska Hernandez. I'm the Climate Justice Hub advocate at Uprose. First and foremost, I want to thank the legislatures sponsoring this bill and also Kevin for being a great MC. Uprose is also Sebastian is here. Sebastian, raise your hand. Well, he's also from Uprose. Uprose is an intergenerational, multiracial, nationally recognized women of color-led grassroots organization that works at the intersection of racial justice and climate change. And we are pleased to help advance the remediation of indirect source pollution. Emission reductions from indirect source pollution from last mile trucking is of the utmost importance in reducing the amount of greenhouse gas emissions as we meet both city, state, and federal climate goals. Moreover, the reduction of emissions will alleviate the negative health impacts associated with air pollution, including asthma and other respiratory ailments, which disproportionately impact Sunset Park due to racist infrastructure like the BQE. This proposed reduction plan will require that a last mile facility implement measures to reduce emissions of the facility, including the adoption of on-site solar and storage, electrification of vehicles, installation of charging infrastructure, and consideration of changing modes of delivery where appropriate. Due to the nature of indirect source pollution, the emissions from these sources are not regulated enough, which permits polluting infrastructure and the companies that build them, like Amazon, from being held accountable by communities. Jobs will also be protected, and we stand in solidarity with our Teamsters. Yes. We'll be protected by proposing alternative modes of delivery where it makes sense, and we at Uprose will continue to push for the potential of these proposed alternative modes of delivery, including pushing for the Cross Harbor Freight Program connecting New Jersey and Sunset Park, as well as recommissioning old rail lines to move goods. This campaign also connects with other Uprose goals and research, including our Grid 2.0 plan and our BOA inflammation studies, which can be reviewed on our website. Thank you.
Yeah. Would you? Do you want to come up and say something? Do you live in the neighborhood? No? Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't feel prepared.
Hi, I'm Carlina Salguero, and I run a maritime. Sorry. Here we have an example. Let's wait. Specialty cargo. So I run a maritime nonprofit in Red Hook, Portside, New York. Our main thing with the last mile warehouses has been trying to get the freight on water, but I want to speak about a Red Hook nonprofit that has moved me profoundly all my years in Red Hook. And that is this Red Hook farm right here. This is the first one, then there's another one up in public housing. And this is an organic farm. This is a place, and it's now run by the Red Hook Initiative, RHI, which was turning around and is turning around the Red Hook story in a food desert, teaching young people how to eat healthy, grow healthy, small business model, dealing with the public. And this organic farm now has next to it 3 of these large polluting facilities. There's that Amazon, there's an Amazon down there, and there's an Amazon right over there. So this is what's happened to a youth program in Red Hook's organic farm. And the farm is a beautiful thing and deserves better.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's cold. Can't top that. But thank you again to our elected leaders, to our allies, to Teamsters, to Upros, to Tri-State, to Empire Clean Cities, to Open Plans, to Red Hook Initiative, and Red Hook Community Gardens. Thank you all so much for being here. Oh, yes, Anija. Thank you all so much. Yeah, let's get this bill passed. Let's reduce the emissions from these last mile and mega e-commerce warehouses, and let's have some clean deliveries. Woo!
What do we want? Clean Deliveries Act. What do we want? Clean Deliveries Act. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now. That's right. Let's go.